Hey everybody, and welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We're talking about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We're your hosts, Chris Hart,
Kevin Hart,
and today we're going to be talking about Batman Forever.
Stick around to the end of the episode to see how our drawing of the Riddler came out. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel for more content. The year is 1995. Children are afraid to go to sleep at night because they see Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Warner Brothers makes a complete 180 and goes in the direction of Joel Schumacher for Batman Forever. Different composer and all, although I don't mind the switch of this because the music is definitely also iconic. Not as great.
Not a bad score.
Not a bad score, though. Yeah. By Elliot Goldenthal. Not bad. Not bad.
Produced by Tim Burton, which is more of a courtesy at this point because he's nowhere to be found at Batman and Robin. This one was like McDonald's couldn't sell their Happy Meals to kids because there was a lot of murder and sexual assault in the previous film. So now they had to, like you said, flip it around, switch up the formula a little bit.
We even get a completely different actor. We're supposed to just roll with it. We get the same Commissioner Gordon, same Alfred, and we're supposed to believe that this is canon in some respects. Although I don't discredit Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was trying to bring it. He was trying to, the seriousness of Bruce Wayne. By far, though, this is the least entertaining of the four movies.
Of the initial four, yeah.
This one is hard for me to rewatch. It was hard for me to get through. We'll talk about the most entertaining part, which is Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
I will say for the Schumacher films, both beautiful posters, by the way, and even the aesthetic of them, very different from the Burton films. Obviously, we saw that they made the switch here, and they went less gothic, and they went more vibrant, fluorescent, neon Gotham City.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that they defend these movies because they say they're a continuation of the 66 television show with Adam West.
Feels like
which is very campy. When you buy into that, then I buy into the films. But I do not buy that it's the same Batman from Batman and Batman Returns to Forever and Batman and Robin. It's just completely different tones, even though they do, like you said, same casting with supporting cast. And also they even make mention to like Catwoman and stuff in this film. I just don't buy it as the same universe.
Nicole Kidman, she bad in this movie. This whole movie, she's just tracking down. She wants to get under the cowl of Bruce Wayne, Batman. This movie, again, like it's just more colorful. They wanted more vibrancy. They wanted to completely contrast the original one, which is very black and white. This one is very almost Broadway Batman. I will credit Joel Schumacher, rest in peace. Very theatric. Even the lighting. Every lighting is very cinematic, very theatrical, and I don't mind it for what it is. Even the Gotham, like you said, it's very vibrant, very neon, and it almost kind of reminds me of like what the Gotham would be in Batman Beyond almost. And this is pretty impressive for something that came out in the 90s. Even the way this movie starts, I love that they start off with like grabbing the gear, right away the big budget action sequence. It's kind of cool to see Batman once again, it always is, but then we're immediately taken out of the tone. He's like, we're in a McDonald's commercial.
I'll get drive-thru. Introducing McDonald's Superhero Burger.
By the way, you can't mention this film without the gorgeous McDonald's Happy Meals glass cups. I have the Batman here. He has Robin. He knows his role.
Highly coveted on eBay. We'll sell this right after.
But the tone is definitely switched up, like you said. It goes from like this extremely dark and gothic masterpiece, in my opinion. And then you go to this, which is basically like, okay, we need to apologize for the tone of the last one. Let's make it funner, more kid-friendly. It just doesn't commit to either tone because Val Kilmer does give a very good performance as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I think he got the whole duality of it. Even in this film, he's dating a psychiatrist, which I think is cool because it's all about the duality, the whole like psychological trauma of Batman as a character. They try to play on that in this.
And yet we got Nicole Kidman on top of the bat signal, like in lingerie. And Commissioner Gordon comes out. What'd you say? Is the guy sleeping there? And that leads us into the most cheesiest shot of the movie when he's got the smirk.
Oh, yeah. But can you blame him for that smirk, though? He's seeing Nicole Kidman in lingerie, you know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the villains. Tommy Lee Jones goes balls to the wall in this one. Horrific Two Face.
The weakest part of the film. Absolutely, hands down, easily the worst part of the film. If you watch the interviews of him when he got cast, you could tell that he's just not a comic book guy, and he definitely took the role just because he wanted to make his kid happy. His kid knew who Harvey Two Face was. He's like, oh, that'd be cool. And you could just tell that he just has no clue what the character is about, how to portray this character. In my opinion, Tommy Lee Jones is doing what he thinks Jack Nicholson did and channeled in for as the Joker in the first film. He's just kind of going crazy, and it's just not the character.
Meanwhile, Tim Burton did set that up with Billy D. freaking Williams, coming hot off
Great
Star
actor.
Wars. Great actor. They were going this whole direction with the whole political thing in Gotham. Harvey Dent was Billy D. Williams, and it's just like, all of a sudden we got Tommy Lee Jones.
Just like we're supposed to buy into Val Kilmer being the same Batman, we're supposed to buy that a black man turned into a white man as Tommy Lee Jones, Oscar-winning actor Tommy Lee Jones.
I don't even think he said a line of dialogue in this movie.
Yeah, like I
the whole
said-
movie, I said he's just making noise. Like,
He's just being as obnoxious as possible, and it's just like, The one thing I will defend, though, is that when you look at, like, the visuals of this film, the whole, even his aesthetic of, like, that, like, bright neon pink,
Very Broadway.
purple. It
Very
is very
Broadway.
Broadway. And it kind of works with the aesthetic of him. When him and Riddler stand together, it kind of looks cool. But as a character itself, he's got, like, this, like, half pimp, half businessman.
he's got a zoot suit.
Yeah, he is. The suit. He does your taxes during the day, and then at night he just slaps hoes around. And he doesn't know what he wants to be, but he's definitely in it.
But Jim Carrey as the Riddler, by far the most entertaining aspect of this movie. As cheeseball as it is, he's doing an elevated rendition of Frank Gorshin from the original 66 movies, cranked up to 11, and I don't hate it.
It's not terrible because it's Jim Carrey, especially if you think about the time of this film. He's probably one of the biggest names at the time. Ace
I will
Ventura,
say that. I give credit to these movies for
The casting.
in all the movies getting very
High
top-tier,
profile, yeah.
high profile actors.
But Jim Carrey definitely, like you said, he elevates this film. His shoulders hurt because he carries the rest of the film. But it, like you said, it's very over the top, especially now that we're getting the Batman with Paul Dano as the Riddler, and we see kind of that like Zodiac killer aesthetic that they're giving him. When you go back and watch this, it's like, yeah, this is like
Very dated.
very dated. Yeah, definitely very 90s, and even the 60s Frank Gorshin stuff, like. Yeah, that seems like toned down compared to what Jim Carrey's doing here.
Yeah. Bummer.
We were just rewatching it before, and the scene where he goes into his apartment and has like that like thing from Big, where it's like and pointing like whatever those machines are called.
Very cool collector's item.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if I was a millionaire and as a Batman fan, I would definitely collect that. I would want that like thing. We were talking about the apartment and like how zany he was and wild he was. We said that, oh, this is like kind of like the Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2. The only difference was that this film came out in 1995 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in 2014. You'd think they would have learned the lesson by then.
No excuses.
But there's something about it. I buy into Edward Nygma living in Gotham, working for Wayne Enterprise, going to his little apartment,
He's
kind
like
of like
obsessed
yeah,
with
kind of like
Bruce
hating him. Yeah.
To the point where he's got his glasses, his suit, he's got a fake mole on his face. And he's just really trying to like one up Bruce Wayne because he like rejected his idea, which he's just basically selling the PlayStation VR headset.
It is true. He was selling NFTs in this film. That's the plot of the film is Riddler wants to sell NFTs. Batman ain't having it.
He's just not ready to invest into the metaverse. Although I really do like Edward Nygma's different looks throughout the movie.
Yes.
Most likely for merchandising aspects, but it was very cool.
100%.
You could almost pick and choose what's your favorite look. And a lot of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, it's like, okay, they all have
There's different fits.
Different
Yeah, yeah.
fits for the toys, baby.
The add-ons, the vehicles, the weapons.
I also really like those like puzzle, almost like high school. Will you date me type messages that the Edward Nygma was sending.
No
to Bruce
matter how
Wayne.
many times you did that thing, it always ended like, you're gay.
No, that was very cool the way he was like rubber cementing everything on. And
Yeah, because that's what the Riddler needs on every crime scene is fingerprints. And also, too, like you were saying, too, like his little like riddles that he was handing. That shot in the Batman trailer, the first one, where he's like, a message from a friend, and it shows like the riddle.
it's very like,
It reminded me so much of this film,
Yep.
and I was like, that's freaking cool, man.
but done well.
but done well.
As a kid, you were always the Batman guy. I was a sidekick, Robin, because I'm younger, 2 minutes younger.
Yeah.
So this was a personal favorite of mine because we got Chris O'Donnell as Robin, the boy wonder.
He looks pretty good. I like the costume design. At the time, it's
I gotta
more
get the hot toy of it.
It's more edgy. I would love those hot toys, even though I don't love the movie. The hot toys are gorgeous.
Gonna drop my mortgage on that thing.
Exactly. Tax refund. Bingo. I'll take that. Previously, they were discussing that Marlon Wayans was going to be Robin in Batman and Batman Returns, which, what a mistake that would have been. The guy, I believe he got paid out for that, too. He got paid to never be in a movie, which is wild to me, like, just because they had the idea of, like, oh, we want him to be this. That would have been horrible. This ain't much better. No, I'm kidding. I do appreciate Chris O'Donnell in this role. I love the one earring because it's like, oh, Robin's edgy. We can relate to him, you know. The one difference is that they make Robin, instead of being like a 10-year-old boy, he's like a 30-year-old man. This guy's already drinking. Probably a couple DUIs at this point. And he's got facial hair, and like Batman's just like, yeah, I'll take you under my wing and raise you. It's a little odd, but I understand the choice they made.
He's doing like jujitsu, like with the laundry. That's what makes us believe we combine to the fact, like, okay, yeah, he would keep up with the Batman.
Yeah, okay, he could swirl laundry around when it's sopping wet. I will say, though, the Flying Grayson sequence is very comic accurate, and I do appreciate how much they're trying to give us, like, those bright colors from the comics, because it translates pretty well.
Again, it's a love letter to the 66 Batman. Robin is literally trying to get rid of a bomb in Gotham.
Very subtle. Overall, though, there is a lot to like in this film. Even the Batmobile, we got a fresh take on the Batmobile. We have that iconic, like, bullet-looking Batmobile, which is such a great design in the Tim Burton films. But in this, I didn't know until recently that it was actually designed by alien designer himself, H.R. Giger. Did you know that?
Not at all.
Yeah, he designed, like, the prototype for the Batmobile. You can see the influence there for sure. Does it hold up against the first two films, Batmobile? Probably not, but it's a cool addition to the Batmobile garage. There's something to love in every iteration of the Batman, and I don't know, there's something about this movie. Not great, not terrible. It's kind of very vanilla for me. I prefer the sequel, like I said.
Forgettable.
Yeah. My favorite scene is when Edward Nygma and Harvey Dent are running like that casino right before they start brainwashing people, and we see Batman come through the roof. Awesome shot. It's a great action sequence, too. That's what I want to say. The action in this film is definitely better choreographed than the first two. It's just very, like, Hollywood. Very cool. That's what I remembered most from this film as a kid, was that action sequence.
I'm going to have to say my favorite scene is very early on in the movie, that opening sequence, that action sequence with Two Face, with the helicopter, Batman,
It's pretty
and
cool.
his henchmen with, like, the half red, half black ski masks. There's just something about it that captivated me.
It's boiling acid!
I forgot to mention that guy. This dude's like, can't
running
see,
security.
Can't hear. What's he doing as a security guard?
The one cool thing about that scene is that the security guard with the hearing aid, like, I thought it was cool that Batman took his hearing aid to listen to the lock of, like, the vault. I was like, that's something very, like, detective that Batman would do. So that was pretty cool. Also, they crash right into the Statue of Liberty in this film.
That says Gotham on it.
Yeah, it just says Gotham. That's how they differentiate New York from Gotham. Just throw the logo of Gotham on it.
But yeah, I don't know. There was just something about that always felt like, almost like something that I would play, like, as a child in a tub with my toys. And that's the scene that would play out in my head, but on this big budget Hollywood action type stage. And I really liked it.
And even the climax could be awesome. And there's just something weird about it. Like, I like the whole setup of Riddler, like you said, in his, like, final form, having Batman choose between Chase Meridian and Robin, which, by the way, there's a shot when he drops Nicole Kidman. As a kid, you can see her underwear, and I was just like, oh! And I was just remember being like, pause it on the VHS and stuff. And then the tape would always just skip at that one point. Mom was always like, what happened here? I was like, I have no idea what happened to this tape. But there's one shot when they both finally fall down, like, the trap doors, and there's riddle symbols, literally, like, melded out of all the, you know what I'm talking about? At the end, someone had to go and put all those riddle symbols into, like,
A contractor was
metal.
A contractor was hired out
on a
to do
secret
this.
island, so they took a boat to get to this job. So, like, labor costs must have been up the roof. It's very wild, but very cartoony. Like, and for some reason, "Kiss My Rose" is the song for this film.
Oh my God!
It
Why
makes
is it in the movie?
zero sense whatsoever. Baby! That's all I remember from the song. Even as a kid, I remember, like, when the VHS would roll and, like, the credits, I was like, what a weird song to end the film on.
Final grade for this movie. I'm gonna go fairly low on this one. Very forgettable. Very, like you said, in the middle, kind of blah. I'm tossed between a 4.5 and a 5.
Okay, I could see that.
I'm going 4.5.
Yeah, oh God, it's so hard because I'm gonna rate Batman and Robin higher because just like I like Returns more than 89's Batman, I prefer Batman and Robin over Forever. So I'm going to give Batman and Robin a better score. But this movie for the time, like the 90s, like I said, high-profile actors. It's a well-made movie for what it was. I want to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6.
What did you guys think about Batman Forever? Let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!